I never thought that I would make this video, but it's time. They finally got Diddy. They finally got him. But the thing is, there's so many more men out there, just like Diddy, who are abusers, who use their fame to lure women in and abuse them. And I wanted to come on here to say that it is time to out every single abuser in the industry. Every single one. They all need to be held accountable. And the thing is, I would be a hypocrite if I came on here and I was telling other women that they need to speak up if I'm unwilling to speak up. I was raped at Chris Brown's house by his friend, Sage the Gemini. Yes, I know, I should have never been at Chris Brown's house in the first place. This happened when I was 18 years old. I'm 26 now, as of today. And
why shouldn't you have been at Chris Brown's house? I wouldn't say that. If you heard that somewhere, man, don't listen to that. Why I would go over Chris Brown's house if I was 18 years old and he invited me over. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you mean? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, that sounds like something like you are still trying to blame yourself, or you did nothing wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. That's expected. Go over Chris Brown's house. Who cares? Right.
And I should have never been there. But Sage the Gemini raped me at his house. Chris Brown raped my friend when she was underage. She was under the influence and she was 16 years old. Were on two different occasions. But the thing is,
I just want to say real quick too, I believe her. I believe it's going to be hard for them to convince me otherwise. And I saw Sage Gemini's response to this stuff. He didn't sound remorseful. He didn't sound, like a person that didn't do this. He sounded bitter, and he sounded like he was like clowning the victims, like haha, I'm never gonna get caught, like taunting people. That's what it sounded like.
These men, all these abusers, they hang out together. Chris Brown and Sage the Gemini are rapists. Why have I been afraid to come out all this time? You want to know? It's because right after Sage raped me, he had me sign a paper saying that everything that happened was consensual.
So he just had like a paper there, just like readily available. Was it Chris Brown, since it was at his house? Like, Chris Brown has those papers, I'm sure. This is crazy.
And he was my Uber drive. He got me the Uber to Chris Brown's house. And I didn't have any money. And I needed him to get me the ride back. And like I didn't know if he was gonna, I didn't know what was gonna happen.
She said, it reads, I didn't know. Here, I'll blow it up for us so we can read it. Hold on. I don't know if that made it much better, but it says, I didn't know. Okay, I can barely read it. I didn't know how he would react to me being upset about what he did. I was afraid he wouldn't get me the Uber ride. I think, hold on.
If I, in that moment,
the Uber ride home, and it was so jarring how he had someone bring out the paper right after what had happened between us. What happened between us was not consensual. Sorry.
I was in shock. I couldn't believe that I don't really know how to talk about this. Okay. I just wanted to come on here and let you guys know that Chris Brown and Sage the Gemini are rapists. And I think that we all of us, girls, guys, everybody who has been raped, abused by powerful people in the entertainment industry, fuck it. I don't care if I signed an NDA. I don't care if I signed this paper that said that it was consensual when it wasn't, and you fucking know that. I wonder how many fucking girls that you had signed something just like that. That is fucking diabolical. The fact that you had that paper brought out right after is so fucking sickening, and it tells me that you've done this before, that something else has happened. And
the thing about that is too, is like, Sage Gemini, if he does send her like a cease and desist, or he like threatens her, was saying like, you signed an NDA, it's gonna prove that she signed an NDA. You see what I'm saying? So he's kind of fucked. It's kind of smart at this point. You know what I'm saying, on her behalf, because okay, so he comes out and says, well, you signed an NDA. Well, why would she sign an NDA? I thought you didn't know this woman. I thought you never had contact with this woman. Oh, you did? Oh, it was consensual? Oh, okay. Then why would she sign an NDA if it?
No taking back. I already posted on Twitter. So I just feel like I have to make a video now too, and it's time for everybody, and now I can tell other people that they should speak out too. I'm not gonna say who the girl was, because that's her decision. That's right. If she wants to come out and say what happened between her and Chris Brown, but she was 16 at the time. She was under the influence. I don't care anymore. I don't care, because I know the truth, and the truth is more important than anything. And I'm so fucking happy. It's time. It's time for all of you, for everybody to know who you all are. People are not going to be afraid anymore.
I love this. I hate that it happened to her, but I love her bravery. I respect it immensely, because I can only imagine how hard it is to come out and speak out against this, right? Like I can only imagine how hard it is to do that. So, and I know she's afraid, and I'm sure all the things, you know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure, I just wanted to share the story so it can get out to as many people as possible. She said it all. I don't really have much like insight into this or anything I could really add to it outside of, from a man's perspective. I believe her. She will, Sage the Gemini and Chris Brown will have to prove to me that they didn't do this for me not to believe it. If they don't say anything about it, 100% I think that they did it. Sage has like one tweet about it, but also another young lady, I couldn't find her video, but it was another young lady who came out and said that she was raped by Sage the Gemini, Sage the Gemini as well. Multiple women at this point. Yeah, I mean, and she was a sex worker apparently, but I don't care. I don't care. It's time. It's time that men start to actually offer protection for these women, and start to treat these women as survivors, and make space for them, and hold the men around you accountable if they say stupid shit about these types of women, like, oh, they just in it for the money, and no. You gotta put the kibosh on that type of stuff. If y'all want to know what protection looks like in these scenarios, in these instances, moving forward, what you want to do is, anytime somebody talks about this, like you hear a woman talking about this, or anybody talking about like they believe them, or this woman just telling their story, and you hear any pushback on it, right? Any unreasonable pushback. I'm okay with reasonable pushback. I want to be clear. Because some people could be like, we know it could be true. Because I know it's going to be some people talking about, so you just believe every woman? Like, okay, cool. There's a, you know what I'm saying? They're going to try to be on some like, so look at what happened to Emmett Till. Like, yes, I know. Trust me. I get it. I'm not saying every single woman is telling the truth, but 99% of them are. You know what I'm saying? 95% of them are. Right. And I'm not a judge, and I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not the DA, and I'm not, and most importantly, I'm not the jury. This is not a court of law. This is the court of public opinion. And in the court of public opinion, no pun intended, but in the court of public opinion, as far as I'm concerned, you're guilty until proven innocent. You're guilty until proven innocent in these cases. So any woman that comes out and says that she was SA'd, sexually assaulted by a man, I'm going to believe the woman, like initially, right? Until stuff comes out. If something comes out, and I mean, it's going to take a lot for me not to believe her. It ain't going to be easy to convince me, but if it comes out, like, I remember Chris Brown specifically, I made a post about it. It like, man, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he had got accused of some stuff. And he was like literally vindicated. Like it was a rare instance of a person actually being vindicated of the, this type of allegation. It was like in the text messages. It was like, it was black and white. I can't remember exactly the instance. I'm sure you guys will. You guys have better memories than me. My memory is terrible. But I remember that. I remember that being the case. And it's funny that it was Chris Brown. But yeah, I believe when they say believe, they don't say believe all women. They say believe women. And this is what we should be doing. This is what protection looks like. You believe the women, you get their message out there, because I would rather go back and apologize to Chris Brown and go back and apologize to Sage to Gemini for not believing them, which I honestly wouldn't do necessarily. But like, I would rather go back and do that than to make it hard on the survivors, and also scare off any other potential survivors from telling their stories, right? Because that's another thing that men do when we don't protect the victims that speak forward, when that come forward, right? If we don't protect the victims, if we don't protect the survivors, then we are making it more difficult for other survivors to come forward. But the thing is I know most men, they want it that way. That's a big reason why they want to shame those women, the survivors. They want to shame the survivors so that other survivors won't come forward to tell their story. That's what it is. So I know the game. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I see what they're trying to do. But here's how men that are interested in actually helping victims and helping survivors, this is how we this is how we help help their voices to be amplified. This is how we protect them, right? We share their message. We don't condemn. We don't judge. I'm making an open declaration. I believe her, right? Boom, there you go. I'm not mincing my words. Hey, the ball's in your court, Sage. The ball's in your court, Chris Brown. You're going to have to prove to me and people like me that you didn't do it. Period, point blank. That's where we're at.